Hi, B.
How are you? You look so familiar to me. I don't know.
No, I mean, well, I'm on Team Webby, so I don't
Maybe
know.
that's it.
We're so excited to have you here tonight. We're
So excited.
beyond happy to have you, and we want to ask, so obviously, like, you're so incredible with connecting with your audience. This is something that is so meaningful to people. Is that something that's really intentional to you? Is that why you started this? Do you feel like, yeah, like connection and being able to really speak authentically with the community is something that really speaks to you?
It's really important to me, and it's very intentional. I mean, I started this account at the beginning of the pandemic, and I remember just like getting under my desk for the first time and like looking into the camera and being like, okay, this is how we talk to people now, and putting all of the same like in-person energy into it as I would if we were having a one-on-one conversation. And I think that's what's helped connect with the audience and with the content, is because I do have like 4 or 5 people who are followers in mind when I hear a story and I'm like, oh my gosh, Jay is gonna love this, or I can't wait to see what habitual line crosser thinks about that. And so I am talking to specific people when I'm doing it, and I think that helps to make people feel really connected. And I also am deep in my comments and DMs. I am always reading the comments and DMs and trying to adjust, and that's where I get a lot of the local stories that other news outlets don't get. Are like Tennessee 3 was something that came to me right as it was happening. So we had it first on TikTok because we have that connection to the audience who could say, yo, this is happening right now in my town. Nobody knows it yet. Can you help me get some airtime for it? And so yeah, this is honestly so surreal for me to be like doing this, because I'm used to being like me and 3 million people under my desk, right? Just like talking intimately and candidly about the stuff that's going on in the world. And so yeah, it's a real big thrill to be here, but it's definitely a very new feeling.
Well, you just brought up something that I think is really important. As far as digital news goes, queer, trans, and non-binary voices, there aren't enough of them. Can you talk about why this is something that's also really important to have, to be sharing these stories and seeing these stories, as you're saying?
Yeah. I think so often when we see queer people on television or in the news, we're hearing bad news. We're hearing something horrible has happened. There's an attack. And so I like being a place where at least there's one little safe space that I can commit to telling stories of queer joy, telling stories of queer success. And oftentimes telling stories about people who are queer, but that's like one of a bunch of things that they are. You know, it's not just about that part of our lives. And I think that's really important too, to show that queer people live full and robust lives. We're parents, we're aunts, we're nephews, we're bankers, we're all kinds of different things, and we're queer. And so we're a part of this world and this community, and we want to be in communication with the broader world also, and understand things that come and seemingly attack trans people first are attacks on all of us. I just did a story in Texas about how a children's hospital got shut down because this group was saying like, oh, they're doing gender affirming care, so they shut it all down. And I had a mom call me who has a cis daughter, and that daughter had cancer. She beat cancer, but the chemotherapy destroyed her reproductive organs, so she had to take estrogen, but she's like 14. She's like, I'm worried about my cisgendered girl daughter not being able to get her medicine because of hateful laws, you know, so this stuff happens to everyone. And I think that's why we have to stick together, and we have to continue to remind people that, like, we are your friends and neighbors. We are not a threat. We're not a bad guy. And we just want to be in collaboration and communication with everyone else and have our own community too, you know, just like we want you to have your own community. So that's what I hope we could do on Under the Desk, is just kind of like bring people together and then also tell some good stories to remind people that it's not all bad. It's going to be okay.
Definitely, and we're so grateful to you for that. We're also so grateful to you for your transparency. You're really dedicated to transparency in this storytelling. Can you also tell us a little bit about that? Obviously, you're under the desk, you know, but like it's very clear.
I sometimes will get called like the cheerleader of the news because when something happens, and because of the space I created under my own desk in my home, it's not a studio, I do feel like it's a secret when I talk to people, so even though it's not, it's like very public. So when something happens, I'm oftentimes going under my desk and trying to say like, hey, I see you. This is what we're doing together. I did this with the coverage of the pullout of Afghanistan too, when I was talking to veterans, and I was like, we are not going to say that everything that happened there was bad. What you did was good. If you had a good day over there and you remember it, that was a good day and nobody can take it away from you. And that type of coverage of speaking directly to the person who's listening and alone, I think brings people together, and is something that I really try to hold space for and I prioritize. And it's not like for any other reason other than that's the sense of urgency I feel in myself when I'm telling a story, is like to make sure that people feel like caught when something bad happens and like we're safe and you're okay. But yeah, I do get teased by some of the legacy media for like cheerleading the news or hand-holding the news, but I'm like, well, somebody's got to hold our hand out here.
No, we love you for it. We feel like it's something that can only happen on the internet.
It really can. Yeah, being on the internet just allows you so much freedom to be yourself.
Well, thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to have you here. We're so grateful to have you at the 27th Annual Webby Awards.
Be here. This is incredible. This is like a movie, like a dream come true. I'm like gonna be thinking about this forever. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We can't wait to see you inside. So we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.